Hi, this is Mark Pritchard, and I'm just going to show you a short demonstration of how to set up a WebLogic Server 10.3.4 domain using JRockit Virtual Edition to run the WebLogic servers as virtual machine instances on OracleVM. Here's the installation. So I've got a standard WLS 10.3.4 where I created my domain and so on. And then I've unzipped the WLS 10.3.4 Virtual Edition distribution. Here you can see the wlsve image tool. This is the main utility we're going to be using to configure the virtual machine images. We have a sort of the starter image is contained under wlsve there, and then I've created my own directory here called a wlsve domain, which is going to be the name of my WebLogic server domain. There we are. And in there you can see I've got three directories, and I've copied the base system.img and vm.cfg files into each of those. So, because I'm going to need a separate virtual machine image for each of the three servers. They're running as separate virtual machines. And then I'm going to configure them, and I've created three XML configuration files. These are JRockit VE configuration files. Let's just have a quick look at the first one, which is the admin server. So wlsve domain admin server. And you can see here I've enabled the SSH file access service. We'll look at that later. There's the local disk mount point. And here I've enabled an NFS mount point so that I can, for example, dynamically deploy applications, or I could reconfigure log files and so on. And here I'm just mounting a drive from my local system. And then we come down here. Here's the virtual machine name. I'm following the convention of domain name and server name. Here's the working directory. /application is the root of the file system by convention inside the virtual machine image for JRockit VE, and I've just created a domains folder, and there's my domain directory. And then if we look at the Java args, here's the standard class path, and I've just added in the -d options, the WebLogic server name, the domain name, and I've added in the WebLogic management username and password, because we'll need that to start the server, because of course we can't type this in. This is a production domain here. And then we've got networking parameters here. Here's the DNS stuff. I'm using bridged NIC here. I've got a static IP address, and that's the address I'm going to be using. And you can add in, there are all sorts of other options. I've just added in some locale and time zone information to show you how to do that. So that's the setup we have there. And what I'm going to do is then configure up each one of these three virtual machine images. So here's an example of what I have to do, and all the details are in the blog entry that comes with this. So first of all, I'm going to create the directory for the mount point. You always have to have that for NFS. So I'm going to create that directory in the file system, and here I'm using the image tool with the -f option to create that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the entire WebLogic server domain, and I'm going to copy that into my virtual machine image. So again, I'm going to be using the -f option. So there you can see I'm using the image tool to take, that's my WebLogic server domain. That's a normal WLS 10.3.4 domain, and I've simply set it up with the host names and so on that I want to use for my virtual machines, and I'm going to copy that into the virtual machine image. That just takes a few seconds. And then as soon as that's finished, I'm going to take this domain configuration, this JRVE configuration for the image, and I'm going to set that. I'm going to use the -r, the reconfig option, to set that for the virtual machine image. So let me just put that in there. And we're all ready to go for the admin server. And then I'll do the same thing. I don't need to create the NFS mounts. I'm not using that for the managed servers. I could if I wanted to. and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to create the WLS home directory. I'm going to copy that into the virtual machines for the Managed Server 1 and Managed Server 2, and then I'm also going to set their configurations. The only real difference there is that we have to, of course, pass in the address of the WebLogic admin server for the domain management. So once I've done that, I simply create directories in the OVS repository seed pool directory, and then I can discover those as OVM templates. And what I do is I just tar and zip up all those files, the system.img and the vm.cfg for each one of the virtual machines, and then I just copy that across to the domain, the directory in the OVS repository seed pool directory, and then I can discover them as OVM templates. Over in the other end, I just have to unpack them again using the tar-xvcf option. So once I've done that, I will have OVM templates. So if I come to the Oracle VM Manager now, you can see the various templates here, and these correspond to the 3 folders that I created, and I simply unpacked the virtual machine image files in there. Then I can go ahead and create my virtual machines, and easy way to do this, I can use the console here. So I'll go ahead and create a virtual machine. I'll just show you the admin server, so I'm going to create the virtual machine based on a virtual machine template. Go in here, I'm just going to use the standard pool. I've just got a simple OVM setup here. So I'll go ahead and I'll pick up the admin server. I can go next. There we go, sorry it didn't pick up my keystroke. And then I'll just give that the wlsve domain admin server, and I can put in a password here. I'm happy to use the MAC address and the default Zen bridge that it gave me. And there we are, there's my details, and I'm just going to confirm that, and it will go ahead and create that virtual machine for me, and we'll see it there creating. That'll take a few seconds to do. What I'm going to do is stop this recording. I'll go ahead and create the 2 managed servers as well. Then in the next recording I'll show you how to start and stop the servers.